Hello, and welcome to Military and Aerospace Electronics Tech Summit Quick Chat with CRU Data Security Group in Vancouver, Washington. I'm John Keller, Chief Editor of Military and Aerospace Electronics. Today's presenter is Robin Wessel, Executive Vice President of CDSG. So thanks for joining me today, Robin.
Thank you.
So I understand that you're going to be, talking to us today about various forms of trusted computing, cybersecurity, and is there anything you'd like to bring up first before we go into some questions?
No, I would say that what's very exciting, is there's quite a lot of challenges as the threat landscape has changed in the world with regards to cybersecurity. I'm sure you've probably seen in the news some of the recent threats. And so I'd say the big message is no longer is it if you should have elements of cybersecurity in your products and implementations, but it's how and what.
Okay. All right. Well, there's been an uptick in conversations about cybersecurity by our current administration, including presidential executive order issued by President Biden on 12 May to improve our nation's cybersecurity. Why the focus on this today? And, are not our government agencies and branches of the military already doing this? What's the picture as you see it?
Sure. So I think actually for some time, users have either gotten away with security that's perhaps not necessarily, state of the art today, kind of ignoring it, or don't know what to do.
Well, when you have customers from suppliers coming in and the federal agencies, what do you tell them? What should they be doing first? What are some of the first things they need to do? What are some of the first questions they really need to ask?
Mm-hmm. So I think the first things you need to ask is a few things, and I would say just to add, COVID has really also changed some things because what was the way that people would work in the past has changed today. So I would ask, first question again, what type of data are you going to be managing? What's the classification level that you were planning to manage? Question number one. Question two, are you looking to implement, let's say, multi-domain? Are you will this computer work with different types of classifications in one environment? That would change the types of data at rest that you need. Number three, I would ask, do I need to remove that data for purposes of additional security or transport? That's number three. And number four is, what is be friends with your security officer and what are their expectations? I've seen so many times where implementations where what they thought they could get away with or thought that was because they would assume that they understood because of the prior implementation, but based on the conversations with the security officer, often too late in the development of the program, only to find out that they don't meet those requirements.
Okay. Well, one of the clauses of the executive order is that agencies must adopt multi-factor authentication and encryption for data at rest and in transit. Can you explain what this all means?
Sure. So what it means very simply is it needs to adopt trusted methods to ensure that data is secure. A little quick background. In the past, the way that people would secure data was either physically removing it and locking it in a box, or they would apply kind of commercial encryption methodologies to secure it. That's on one end. On the other end, we've got, let's say, very high performance DoD, high secure applications that would use very bespoke custom solutions like type 1 data at rest. So now it's saying that, we need to, every user, again, back whether it's Department of Agriculture all the way up, needs to put encryption. So it means that the drives, the data at rest, that's being physically stored or in transit needs to be encrypted. And multiple factors of authentication, multi-factor, meaning that you have to have, just like your cell phone, you need to have more than one way to access to authenticate. So whether that's a smart card, a CAC card, and a password to access that.
Right. So, we're talking about securing data at rest and data in transit. Can you help me understand the difference between those two, and how do the enabling technologies for securing data at rest and data in transit, how do they compare and contrast?
Sure. So first off, to define the term data at rest, I think many of your readership probably knows it, but for those that don't, data at rest is any type of data that is, let's call it, it's not the stuff in Google Cloud or in Amazon Web Services. So data that's on a network interface or Ethernet is not data at rest, but everything else is data at rest. And that data can be in your computer, it can be on a USB drive, it can be static and stored and in use, or it can be in transit, literally being moved from, let's say, a sensor to a computer for processing, exploitation, and dissemination. So that's what is used. So let's talk about the different types of technologies used to protect that. So let me start from I'd say the most basic commercial methods might be what you probably heard of, what's called Opal. And Opal is a commercial standard for encryption. It's a great solution for, I would say, general encryption, where you might not have any needs for controlled unclassified or above type data. So general information, perfectly adequate to encrypt using Opal. Moving up the continuum, we move into FIPS. And FIPS is a certification of that encryption, and it verifies that that encryption is accurate and valid. Now, it's important to note that just because it says FIPS, you want to look for the certification number so that it is truly a certified FIPS drive. There's a lot of folks, just like when they say mil spec, it may actually not be it may be designed to mil spec, not actually certified to mil spec requirements. So for controlled unclassified information, FIPS is, I'd say, a minimum requirement for encryption. So anytime users are managing controlled unclassified and above, you need FIPS. This includes both DoD government agencies as well as the military industrial complex that are subject to CMMC. So if you are dealing with that information in CMMC, you need a FIPS drive. Moving up the layer is NIAP, or Common Criteria, and that's an additional certification of FIPS. And now when we're talking about classified data, the NSA is saying that you need a NIAP or Common Criteria. Then moving further up is a capability of where you have multiple layers of, or a what's called an NSA layer. And that's often multiple types of security layered together that constitutes a full layer with the NSA in that drive. And then moving further up, there's what's called commercial solutions for classified, which is something that the NSA has done to create a solution that says, I have blessed this product for implementation and classified information. And then the ultimate encryption is DAR type 1, which is government owned, government developed, very bespoke, and often very expensive.
Right. Well, for your customers now, and particularly for your newest customers who might just be wandering in the front door, what percentage roughly would you say of those are asking for solutions for data at rest, and what percentage are looking for solutions for data in transit?
So I think it depends on the application. Clearly, anytime we're dealing with ISR applications, and especially now with the size of sensors that are able to produce large data sets, often employed in austere environments where you don't have very capable networks or reliable networks, a solution that has removability to enable data in transit is a must-have. And fact is that the method of removing data to create, enables not just storage, but transit, has been a de facto standard for years and years and years for securing data at rest. So I would say that today that there are, any application that's sensor centric or field type, downrange type applications involve some type of data in transit, and typically more of the in-house or office, if that say headquarters types applications typically don't involve data in transit as much.
Okay, well, we're talking about the needs of different applications. Does everyone need to adopt the same levels of security? How does that differ?
The simple answer is no, and it all depends on the kind of classification or level of data that you're needing to secure. So if it is, again, on classified data, typically a truly commercial solution is more than likely adequate. As you move into controlled unclassified, you need a higher level. And as you move into secret with various levels of compartmentalization, you need an even higher level. That said, there's no simple one answer that at least we have found, and it's very much subject to the individual agencies and individual departments and divisions and their security officers and the kind of threat level and risk that they see in their implementations and management of their data.
All right. Well, I know it can be very confusing, particularly for people who are just now getting drag kicking and screaming into the world of trusted computing and cybersecurity. So how can agencies in the Pentagon, go about securing their data at rest? Is it expensive? Is it hard to do? Are there barriers? I mean, what are your customers asking you?
Well, I tell you, I think it's changed a lot actually in the recent months, especially with the increased level of threat related to cybersecurity. And the government, the DoD, has certainly mandated now that trusted architectures are the way to go. And so with that, what has been implemented in the past, especially on a number of longer range programs or established programs, what worked in the past or what has been able to get away with or wavered in the past is no longer the case today. So my recommendation is the first thing to do is don't automatically assume what you used in the past is what you can get away with in the future. We have numbers of people, of users that we speak with that are really unaware of the current requirements. And they're also unaware of the kind of capabilities because this is very, very fast moving. In the past, until very recently, the only options were very, let's call it commercial-based solutions that didn't have very many certifications and didn't meet a number of government requirements. Or on the opposite end, extremely expensive, bespoke solutions, highly ITAR, very hard to deploy and implement. And there was really nothing in the middle. And now what's exciting is that there are a number of solutions that really can meet the need that DoD has, especially with regards to requirements like common criteria, NIAP, FIPS, commercial solutions for classified, available that are affordable to be implemented in mainstream computing solutions more that weren't before. So right. I would say certainly ask and don't assume that what was before would work will work in the future, and look to companies like ourselves. Of course, we have solutions as well as others.
I think that's all the time we've got for more questions. So, thanks again, Robin, for your time today. Just a reminder that today's session will be available here within the Military and Aerospace Electronics Tech Summit platform for the next 30 days. On behalf of the Military and Aerospace Electronics Tech Summit and our sponsor, CRU Data Security Group, we would like to thank you for joining us today.